Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Well, as you can see here, the maximum depth undergravel filter looks like it's finally come to the end of its cycle run. It's going to need cleaning or something, and as this video progresses, I'll cover the various things that I see that are wrong with this, and we can figure out what we're going to do. Now, it has run since July of 2020, so if it made it to July of this year, it would have been running for 2 years without any servicing whatsoever. That's pretty good, but this was done as an experiment, so I'm not entirely sure it's going to continue. We'll see, depending upon how things are. There are some other filters I want to try out, and also this does take up an awful lot of tank space, so I may end up switching it out for something else. We'll see. We'll actually probably get your input on that as this progresses. So I'm going to take the lid off of this, and I'm going to start going over the things I see that are wrong with this, like the reasons why it needs to be cleaned at least, and at the end of the video we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. So I took the lid off, and the first thing you notice is the air comes up through the pipe, but it's not coming up like bubbles in water. It's coming up like blurping. It will come up, blurp out a bit of water, and that is an indication that the flow of water down through the gravel bed is being blocked. It's not as smooth, and what happens is the air moves up through the pipe. It's not drawing enough water with it, and you get that, blurping. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to take off one of the airlines, and we're going to see how it runs just with the one, because I want to see which one is causing most of the air to come out. And as you can see here with the right hand one undone, I'm still getting a fair amount of bubbling through the gravel. But as we pan down, I want you to also check the gravel bed itself. I'm going to be doing down here in a second, and you'll notice, actually at this angle you can still see it. You see that clear spot right at the bottom near the left-hand side. That is air that is trapped in the gravel bed. And the reason why it's trapped there is there's enough detritus and algae and that sort of stuff that prevents that air from just percolating up through the gravel. And this happens in any sort of setup, like a canister filter that's tall and has a fair amount of media in it, or this style of gravel. What happens is the gravel almost fuses together with detritus, algae, and a whole pile of other microorganisms and whatnot, and it creates these pockets that the water doesn't flow through as easily, and you end up with channeling, where it will pick a path of least resistance and go up that way. So you end up with these pockets of air, and basically that section is not doing enough filtration, and you can cause, well, depending on how it is, you can end up with a bunch of less pleasant gases being released. Not necessarily a problem as long as most of the filter is working, but it is something to keep in mind as well. So I've switched the airline now over to the right hand one, and you can see the bubbling is a lot less. So most of the percolating through the gravel was happening from the left hand stack, and that usually comes because my rigid airline tube, what I usually do is drill a hole perpendicular to the length of the rod, as you can see here, about 2 inches up. And what happens is, because you get air-water interface there, you can get buildup of calcium, and in this particular case it looks like it's a buildup of some kind of algae, and that will force the air to go down to the bottom of the pipe, and then of course along the plate, and then up through the gravel. So that's what was causing that. So I've cleaned both of those off, and I've cleaned obviously the cap that goes on top of this. As you can see, the bubbles coming out of it are not blurping as much, but that has nothing to do with cleaning those little intakes. It is simply because I turned it off and things settle a little bit, and then when I turned it back on, that small of a change is enough sometimes just to jostle this enough that there's a bit more flow through the gravel. But as you can see, there's still a fair amount of trapped air underneath the gravel bed. It is flowing better now, but this is definitely going to need to be cleaned. Now, the reason why I'm leaning towards this needing to be completely cleaned out is, besides the trapped air, I'm going to pan down here in a few seconds, and I'm going to focus on it a few times. Look at the color of the gravel that's near the clear, well, it used to be clear acrylic. That color is from an algae. It is not a healthy one. It is one that will cause a bit of issues in an aquarium. It is well, blue-green algae, and I'm not entirely sure of the exact species, but it will change the chemistry of the aquarium sufficiently that if I let this go long enough, that this would definitely affect the health of the fish. So far, they're all fine and everyone's doing well, so it's not a big deal. You can also see that the plants here are nice and healthy and green. But it is an issue that needs to be dealt with, especially if, let's say I'm working in the aquarium and I bang up against the filter and jostle it a bit. A fair amount of that material could get released in one go, and then that is definitely a problem. That could definitely cause issues with the fish themselves. So this is going to get cleaned out. I'm going to let it go for probably another week, just to see how quickly it will revert to doing the bubbles through the gravel. Mostly just my curiosity. But then, yeah, this is going to get stripped down. Now, what I'd like to do, I think, is take this aquarium and change it over to a different filter style. I have a number of them here. I still haven't really tested out Aaron's 3D printed filter to the fullest, and I would like to get that going as well. There's a bunch of things that I would like to do, so definitely leave comments below if you have something that you would like to see on this. Please make it air driven, because I have enough water pumps running in the fish room at the moment that I don't really want to plug in something else. Other than that, let me know what you want. I've built so many different filters over the years. Some of them I haven't really, gone through all the different details for what they could be done. But, see if there's something you would like to see. So, like I said, this filter for, well, 16 months, 14, 16 months. Yeah, 16 months. No, actually even longer. Sorry, it was July. That's right. So 20 months that this was running, and like I said, it did nothing to it. It's not obviously overstocked with fish, but it has a fair number of them in here, and it did its job. It did what I wanted it to do. Undergravel filters at some point in time do need to be gravel vacuumed, and in this particular case, this is what it's getting to. It needs to be, in this case, I can't really gravel vacuum this. What I'm going to do, obviously, is dump it all out, rinse it, put it back together. It is a matter of only a few minutes to do, but my particular issue with this has nothing to do with that. It's just taking up the back 6 inches of this aquarium, and I would like to maximize. This is one of my larger aquariums. This is a 20-gallon, and I would definitely like to have full access to it. So in the comments below, let me know what you think, and like I said, those patches of darker algae are definitely a no-no, so I am going to clean this out in about a week or so, and we'll, depending on what you guys say, we'll go on to some other style of filtration in here. So thank you very much for watching. Again, always let me know what you think below, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.